Hey everyone, this is part 2 of how to model an Italian mocha coffee pot. In the first video we went ahead and modeled the bottom portion of the pot, and today we're going to go forward with modeling this middle portion, or top portion if you want to call it that, with the spout and this adjoining ring that slides over the bottom lip of the previous part that we built. Okay, so easiest way to go about this, obviously the geometry of the top and bottom on this particular object are virtually the same, with the exception of the additional parts that we'll be adding. So we can safely begin to build this from our previous geometry and save ourselves some time from doing it from scratch. So what we'll do is we'll grab this the bottom part, and we'll create a duplicate directly above it. Okay, and then we'll just rotate that 180 degrees and move it and position it into place. Accuracy isn't essential at this point. We just want to get some starting point here created. And one main difference between the top portion and bottom portion of this object is that obviously the opening and the spout here. So on this part, what we'll do is we'll start out by just removing all of these polygons, and that'll give us a fresh slate to begin. Okay, so we'll do that just by selecting that center point and delete, and that removes all those those faces. And we'll zoom in a little bit here, and we'll select this ring of faces, and we'll grow that selection down to about there and delete. And then we'll select our edge loop here, and we'll flatten it on the Z. In 3dsmax, the Z is up and down, so we flattened it and straightened that edge loop on the Z here. Okay, so in order to create the spout, we have to look at it for a minute and decide what is the best way to attack this geometry. What we want to achieve here is obviously a V-shaped spout. The end of the spout, the beginning of it, I guess, occurs right slightly below the middle of the model. The tip of it seems to be slightly below the middle and directly on one of the creased edges. And then it spreads out in a V as it goes up to the top, and the center portion here spreads out from the tightness of this crease here, and then it kind of spreads out a little bit here in the center, although there's still some shape involved there. It seems to flow right into that and then out in a V shape. So we'll achieve that just by positioning our camera directly in front of the left side crease of our model. As you can see where we're at here, this is the front and this is directly to the side, and we want this edge right here, this group of edges, to be our guide to where the spout will occur. And conveniently we have a central edge going across that we can use as a guide as well to position the spout. Okay, so what I'm going to do here to start is I'm going to grab this edge here, okay, directly to the left of our guide lines here, and then I'm going to select this edge directly below it. And if I zoom in, you'll see I'm selecting all three of these edges. And then I go around in a U shape and select that, and then finally this edge at the top again. So what I've actually done is made a selection that goes in a U type shape right around here. Okay, and once you have those selected, go ahead and hit connect, and we'll just use one segment and accept that. All right, and we've made a cut now in a V type of shape, so that's going to help us here. But what we can do here is we can use a particular tool called Build Corner, and I press Build Corner with that edge still selected, and it automatically quadrifies that edge loop and converts it to quads. All right, and which is what we want for subdivisional modeling. All right, so we have our inset here, and that's really what this is an inset of these faces. And we could have actually used inset to achieve this same result, except that if we grabbed all of these faces and we did an inset, it would have created a new additional group of polygons right in the middle, and we would have had to remove these top faces and then straighten the border edge again and made it planar. So using this technique, we've created essentially a partial inset without having to do all the work up here. But the topology is basically the same as if you just inset and then removed the top faces and moved up the border, but this is a quicker way to go about it. Just select a U-shape group of edges, connect, and use the Build Corner tool. All right. So that's how we start off here, and the next step to achieving our V is just to we'll go to Vertex Mode and turn on Ignore Back Facing so we don't accidentally select anything back here while we're working in perspective. And then we'll turn on our edge constraints so that we don't, screw up our topology while we move things around. All right, and we'll start up here and we'll grab these 2 points and we'll just, with edge constraints on, we will scale them apart to make room for our V-shaped spout. And then we could do the same with these edges. Just scale them apart a little bit. Alright, and now, as I said, our spout begins just slightly after the midpoint of our model. So we want to grab these edges and move it up to right below our center line. Right about there. Okay. And this portion will then be our spout coming out of the side here. So, and then we'll grab these edges and we'll just scale those into a V. And we need to tighten this up down here. The V needs to come to a distinct point down at this location, right below the center line. So what we'll do is we'll grab these points and we'll scale them together fairly tightly, and then we'll grab the points above it and we'll just build a V shape like this, one step at a time. Okay, and this is going to indicate the width of our spout, and looking at a reference, it's not terribly wide, but we could actually tweak this a little bit here, maybe not as wide right there. Okay, and just straighten the V shape down here. Okay, I'm happy with that. We have our V here for our spout. We could turn off edge constraints at this point. Grab these points and we'll move them out. All right, to the desired depth of our spout, and we can adjust this later, so it's not imperative that you get the exact depth at this point. We just want to pull those out so we can get a look at our model as it's going to be. Okay, and if we subdivide now, you can see we're not exactly where we need to be. The real object has sharp defining lines on the V, and then this middle portion is still defined, but it spreads out a little bit. It comes up from our crease edge here, all right, one of our edges, and it will spread out just a little bit as it goes towards the top. And then these spread out in a V, but they're still very defined. All right, so we're going to achieve that just by adding some new geometry in here, some control geometry, and we'll spread this out to achieve a rounder appearance there. All right, so what we'll do is create some support edges here to give the appearance of sharper transition. All right, and I might want to tighten that up down here, but for now I'm going to leave it be. All right, so I select Swift Loop, and we're going to put a Swift Loop right in here. Okay, right about there. All right, and holding down Control and Alt, you can actually scale that with some, you can actually slide those, that new edge loop with edge constraints automatically enabled. So holding down Control and Alt, whoops, you don't want that. Holding down Control and Alt after you make your Swift Loop insertion will automatically, enable edge constraints so that you could, tighten it up even more. Okay, and I'm fairly happy with that. That should produce a nice tight edge, a tight V right across here. Okay. All right, so let's just check it. Yeah, we have a nice tight V shape going on now. So, all right. So the next step is we need to spread these edges apart a little bit to create, to square this up at the top and then create a nice flow in here. So I'm going to bring up my loop tools, go in edge mode, bring up my loop tools, and select this middle edge, and I'll use the slide pinch feature, and I'll just pull them apart a little bit. And be careful you don't go too far because you don't want to create some pinching in here. Alright, so just slide them apart a little bit using that slide, and then we can go ahead into edge mode with our edge constraints on. Actually, we don't want our edge constraints on. We'll go into Vertex Mode, select these two verts, and we'll just scale them apart manually until we're happy with the result there. Okay, and I'm fairly happy with that for now. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, we might need to, we'll just tighten that up a little bit more. Okay, and that's achieving this in here. See how that's follows our tight edge all the way to here, then we get the V, and then we have a face here that's spread out a little bit, and that's what we've got going on here. Okay, and let's see what we can do from here. Okay, from this point, I just want to make sure that we're not creating any artifacts, and it doesn't appear that we have any artifacts. I like to tighten this up here though, right down at the bottom, so we can do that. Now we'll just go into here and we'll just scale these all closer together, a little bit closer together, and then here, and we'll put that a little closer together as well. Okay. And there's our spout. Now it looks like by scaling them together I've caused a little bit of an artifact there. Alright, so we might want to, I think we can correct that through, let's see what we can do here. I think we can correct that just by pulling those vertices on their normals. Yeah, I think we could just go ahead and pull that out. There. That's exactly what was causing that artifact. Were these vertices not being, causing the polygon to not be planar at this location. So, see if we pull it back or pull it forward. I think we're right about there is where we need to be. Yeah. And that takes care of the artifacting. So, alright, that looks pretty good for now. And you could continue to tweak. You could, you could make this planar in here, these polygons, to create a flatter edge there. We could support these edges if we want to crease that. And there's a lot you can do there. But for now, I'm fairly happy with that. And the next step, I think, though, will just be to use the shift tool, which is basically like a freeform deformer in the form of a brush. And we'll just grab that tip and kind of pull it down a little bit to create an angle. Alright. I'm sorry for rushing through this video, guys. It's late and I have a lot of projects on my plate, so I really wanted to fit this in and get through it and show you guys how to build this top portion. But I apologize for rushing through it and making some mistakes here along the way. I kind of just dove into this without really any forethought, and the next video we will create the top and the handle, and I'll be sure I have more time to better explain the procedure in that video. But for now, I just wanted to get this completed for you guys so you didn't have to wait too long. Alright, so the next step is going to be this this belt area here that will proceed down into our bottom model. Basically just, you can see it better here. It's an elongated lip that comes down and meets with the bottom portion, and it fits over this lip. Alright, so we're going to create that. Now if we go ahead and just extend the lip that we already have, and we just pull it down, being that it's a duplicate of this model, it's just going to, the polygons are just going to intersect down here. So we need to expand it out a little bit more. I mean, we could just select all this and scale, but it'll screw up some of the topology. It'll cause, our sides to become non-planar, and we might end up with some artifacts in the subdivision. So I'd like to go about it in a cleaner way, and one way to do that is, let's see here, we'll just go in and we'll select this ring of faces and delete it, and then we'll just get in close and we'll select this border edge, and we'll just carefully scale it just slightly to make it a little bit bigger so that it will not intersect the bottom part when it comes down over it. Alright, so just ever so slightly scale it out, make it a little bit bigger. Alright, and then we'll just build an edge here and then pull it down, holding shift on the keyboard, of course. Just pull those edges out, and we're eyeballing it right now. This isn't, I've said it numerous times, we're not worried about scale here. This is just, this is just for, if you wanted to create an animation or use it as a prop in a scene. It's a high poly model, but it could be used in close-ups and whatnot. So, all right, so here we have it, and if we look at that with sub D, I think we can come down just a little bit more. Okay, and that looks fairly good. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. We'll bring this down a little bit, and you'll see that it fits over that bottom lip quite nicely, nice and snug. All right, and you know, the key here is when we add thickness to it, we'll just add a shell modifier, and we'll adjust the inner amount to give it some thickness. All right, and there it is. So that's a quick way to go about building the top part of that object. Okay. In the next video, we'll go through how to build the top, the handle, this little valve right here, and of course the top, this knob, and that is also part of the lid. All right, so that'll be for the next video, guys. I'm sorry I don't have as much time right now to get into that, but we'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching. I hope you learned something here. I hope something was useful, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks again.